Hello there, welcome back to the Closet Historian. Today I have a little haul for you guys. I asked some of you on Instagram, for those of you who follow me over there, please go feel free to do so because I have a tiny Instagram, but I do try and post sometimes. But I asked a few of you over on Instagram if you would like to see a haul from my day at the street fair market vintage fair that I went to last Saturday, and a few of you said you would. So today I would like to show you what I found at said street market fair, vintage fair sort of thing. It's actually quite a small little street market that they set up in a parking lot of a shopping mall here every summer. It's the first Saturday of the month during the summer months, and I do try and go a couple of times just because although most of the booths are selling like shabby chic decor or like popcorn or like CBD oil, there are a few stalls that actually do sell actual antiques, like ephemera and vintage jewelry and things like that too. So while the vintage is it's less, maybe less than 25% of the actual fair, I do still find gems sometimes, so I do try and make a point to go, and I did find a surprising amount of things this time, so I'm excited to share them all with you. So actually at one of the first little booths or stalls, like people just pay for a spot, at a street market, was actually two different vendors, and from one vendor I picked up this hand fan here. This is just a like sandalwood or bamboo style hand fan. They've been making these for a very long time. I have no idea what era this one is from. If I had to I think it looks rather 20s or like 1930s, with like a parasol and like a pretty silk dress in similar colors. I don't know. That's what this reminds me of. That's kind of what I envisioned when I saw it. And this was $6 for this fan, and that's a little bit much for something that's like just a cheap souvenir kind of hand fan, in my opinion. But I just really loved the color combination. I thought it was so pretty, this combination of colors, and it was very inspiring to me almost to do other projects with this kind of color combination in the future, or do outfits in this color combination. So I bought this almost as just like a piece of inspiration, or just something, a pretty trinket, I'm not immune to a pretty trinket, but I really liked the brighter colors of the birds on this lighter, muted, greenish blue background, almost like light celadon colored background. So I picked up this little hand fan, and with the red too. I thought that was a nice contrast. So mostly just because I love the colors and the print of this is why I decided to snap it up. I did give myself a little bit of a budget. I had deposited my paycheck that morning and got a little bit of cash out and said, okay, this is all you're allowed to spend, which I did go over that, but you'll see why. And then from that same booth, there was another, it was like a couple of vendors who were sharing that booth. There was a small selection of vintage clothing. Now, this fair usually does not have vintage clothes as a rule. If anything, like two booths will have like 10 items each. Like, I never expect to find anything, especially because vintage is usually on the smaller side, and my measurements are not on the smaller side of vintage. So I just never really anticipate finding anything, but this person actually did have a couple of items that I was like, wait a minute, these might fit me. And so I was looking through her little rack of clothes, and I found this 1940s jacket here. This is from a women's fashion store called Gray Rose House of Fashion from Colorado Springs. And I did look that up on the internet. It looks like it was a women's fashion store down in like downtown Colorado Springs for a very long time. So that's pretty cool because it's a local piece. It doesn't have any other labels on it, so I'm not sure if it was something that was made for that store or if it was something that was imported and they just put their labels on it. Not really sure how that worked back in the 40s because unfortunately I never have been shopping in the past. But if I could have time travel for a day, you know what I would be doing. But this just has these really great big pockets on the front of the jacket here that wrap around to the back with more of these big buttons, large big buttons here in the front, huge nice collar, cute little winged cuff on the short sleeve here, and of course was something that looked like it would fit me, so I just pumped it on over the shirt I was wearing just to see if it would fit because they didn't have like a mirror or anything, and I had forgotten to bring a measuring tape because I just never expect to find clothes at this fair. So I was so surprised, and it seemed like it was going to fit me. If anything, this is a little bit big on me actually. But for a 1940s jacket in such a fun stripe with colors that I knew I could pair with things in my wardrobe. Of course, I can wear this with a black skirt, a gray skirt, or a red skirt. So that's really nice and versatile for me in my wardrobe, and I knew I had lots of things I could wear this with. And this jacket was $15. So I could not pass up a real 1940s jacket that fit for $15 with like no major flaws. It does have a small stain just here, which I may see if I can research how to get it out. It looks almost like a rust sort of stain or a water stain of some kind. And I do think this is silk. I haven't done a burn test on anything or really double checked that at all, but it does seem like a silk or silk and cotton blend to me. So I'm not sure exactly how best to spot treat that, but I may look into some vintage sellers and see if they have any tips online for doing something like that. It's not something I've done a lot of before. But this was just such a cute little striped jacket for only $15 that I just knew I had to have it. I was so surprised to find it, and obviously I'm excited to have it now. One of the reasons I keep going to this fair is because there is always this one booth that has just vintage jewelry, and they have a lot of it, and I love browsing through their selection and seeing what they have every year. Usually I find one or two things, and they have quite good prices, so this was no exception. I did find quite a few things this year, and starting with this dress clip. This is just a silver or rhodium plated 1930s or 40s dress clip with white or clear rhinestones. They have, some of the rhinestones here have gone dark. That is not something that bothers me. I never mind if the rhinestones have gone dark or cloudy. I will not buy something if they are missing, however, just because although you can replace stones in something like this, I know myself and I know I'm too lazy and I won't get to it and I'll put it off and it's just not worth it for me. So I always buy things that have the stones, all the stones there. This one was just in a style that I don't have anything particularly quite too similar to this. I do have plenty of white clear rhinestone dress clips in my collection. Do I need this? No, but it's always nice to see dress clips out and about. We all know on this channel how much I love a dress clip, so when I see them out in the wild for a good price, I find them very hard to resist, and this one was only $5 for this little single clip. I usually do try and buy them in matching pairs, but I've kind of loosened up in that stance over the years. I used to only buy the matching pairs, and now I will buy single ones. It's kind of naughty of me because now I will end up with more of them doing that, because before that was one of my rules, like, oh, you can't buy them unless they're in a pair, and now I've kind of loosened that up. So, you know, I love dress clips. So there's that. I couldn't resist this one. For $5, I had to pick it up. My voice seems like really low and gravelly today, and I don't know if it was because I was like talking to my friend yesterday for most of the day or what the deal is, but I'm sorry about my voice being kind of weird today. I don't know if you guys are noticing that. I am. I'm like, why is my voice so freaking low? But anyway, these were another pair of dress clips I picked up from that same booth. Of course, again, a pair this time, so I'm always excited to find that. These ones were only $6 for the pair of them. They are they are a stamped brass. Honestly, can't talk anymore. Apparently, I'm just losing the ability to speak in general here. But they are kind of an antiqued finish patina on these brass stamped dress clips, something that probably would not have been very expensive in the time they were made either. And then of course they were only $6 for the set for me. I did not have anything in my collection that was just plain brass with no stones, so this is something that's like, seems a little bit less formal to me, and I always like having dress clips I can wear during the daytime, so I was happy to pick these ones up. I have seen things very similar to this, or like this same kind of one online before and passed them up, but for $6, I can't pass up a set of dress clips in great condition for $6. There's just no way. So I was happy to find these and scoop them up. I did find a few pairs of earrings at that same booth as well. These ones are again a stamped brass sort of material construction. These ones are also again from the 1930s or 40s. They have a screw back on the back of them. These are just kind of antiqued brass. Again, probably something that was not very expensive when they were made and were only $3 for me to pick up when I got them at this vintage fair. I kind of liked the strange, like geometric, almost exclamation point look to them. They do actually go this way, so it's upside down exclamation point, but I thought they were interesting and very like modernist, but 40s at the same time. So I wanted to pick them up, especially for $3 for something that's from the 1940s. That's a pretty good deal. These ones, because they are just a cheap brass earring, because they're not signed, because they're not particularly special, they're not Cartier, guys, I will be clipping the backs off of these and switching them to post backs. I know this is a controversial thing that I say here on my channel, that I convert earrings. A lot of people do get upset with me for doing that, but they're going to be in my collection and I want to wear them for the next foreseeable future. I don't anticipate stopping my love of vintage anytime soon, so if they're going to be with me for another 20, 50, however long I live, years, I want to be able to wear them without worrying that, I always worry that screwbacks seem to fall off on me, so I always worry I'm going to lose one, and then the clip-ons I find very painful. So I convert most of my earrings, unless they are something special and signed, to post backs, and a lot of you have asked me to show you how I do that. Really, I just do take a pair of wire clippers and clip the backs off that are there and then glue on posts, but I will show you how exactly I do it at the end of this video today. So because I did find a few pairs that need to be converted the way I do it, my sacrilegious converting of earrings, you will see the carnage of me doing that at the end of this video. So stay tuned if you want to see how I do that, basically. Another pair of earrings I found at that same booth were these silver snake spiral earrings. These ones are actually $5, so another $2 more this time, but I don't have any silver snake jewelry, and I am a Slytherin, so I feel like, you know, I should probably invest in a little collection of some silvery snakes. I do quite like snake themed things in general. So I'm surprised I don't have any other snake jewelry yet. So I was happy to see these and pick them up. My friend actually spotted them, and I was like, well, I do kind of have to have those, don't I? These ones again are a clip back that I will be taking off and converting into a post back. These ones are actually signed, however, they are from Whiting and Davis, which is something I recognize more as a brand that makes handbags. They make these little like mesh metal handbags most of the time, so I didn't know they made jewelry as well. They do seem, just by the style of the back and just like the general style of them and finish, to me they seem something that is more 60s, 70s, 80s as opposed to earlier, and so again that makes me feel less bad about converting them. They seem kind of like 80s earrings to me, so that's another, like, the more recent or like retro instead of vintage item is, the less bad I feel about clipping the clip backs off. But again, we're not here to discuss the moral implications of changing clip earrings into post backs. I'm just showing you what I got and letting you know that the carnage is coming. So, but I was happy to find some snakes to add to my collection. I'm considering doing, like a Slytherin sort of lookbook. Someone asked me to do a like fusion of goth and vintage style, and I love that fusion. So that lookbook will definitely be coming eventually, or I'll put some outfits together with that in mind, and maybe these will make an appearance for a sort of Slytherin influence look. The other two pairs of earrings I found at the stall are definitely from the 1980s, I would think. These ones are just larger brass, like hammered finish gold hoops. I was happy to find these kind of hollow, larger, thicker gold hoops just because I've been getting into hoop earrings. How many times can I say hoop? Hoop just feels weird to say. I've been getting into hoop earrings more recently within like the last year, and so I was happy to find this bolder pair because we all know I love a bold earring, so I was happy to pick these up for only $3. And then the last pair of earrings I got from that booth were these larger gold earrings. They are a little bit on the heavier side, which I do worry a little bit about, but hopefully they won't be too uncomfortable. But I thought they were nice and bold against my dark hair, this bright brushed brass gold color. They have like, it almost looks like up close like a cookie or something because they have like a kind of rough edge. They look sort of handmade, and they have little stars, moons, and hearts on them. I just thought they were too freaking cute. Very trendy again, for something that is probably from the 1980s, and totally vintage, and $3 at the fair, so much cheaper than going out and buying a trendy pair of earrings anywhere else, and I get to reuse and recycle, as it were. The last item I picked up on this little trip, antiquing vintage fair market trip, was this vintage suitcase. I will insert a clip of it here just because I don't want to hold it here here at my desk, but it's a 1940s, I'm assuming, 1930s or 40s chipboard or like cardboard style suitcase. This was like a thing in the past where before people were throwing your luggage around in baggage claim and like damaging it no matter what it's made out of, they were actually, able to make luggage out of cardboard or like chipboard like this without too much worry. Obviously this one is quite worn through the years. It has old stickers on it. It has lots of scuffs, scratches, and bangs and dents. It has these cool like finishes or like corner caps on it that are really quite cool. These little metal caps on the edges that are sort of filigreed looking. But I mean, it's obviously had more than one owner. It's got this remnant of a sticker here on the front that almost looks like the CSU Aggies like logo. My other CSU alum friend who was over yesterday pointed that out to me. She's like, it almost looks like the Aggies A on there. And I was like, oh, maybe it is, because obviously this is an item I bought here locally in Colorado, so it could have been owned by a Coloradan beforehand, which would make sense. But I do plan on putting a couple more old travel stickers on here. I actually ordered some water decal travel stickers, vintage ones, on Etsy this week that may or may not arrive in time for me to put them on before I want to use this suitcase in a video. The reason I bought this suitcase, I did buy this as a prop basically for videos to have in the background of my like styling segments of my videos. As you guys have probably noticed, I've been kind of styling that more and more lately, and I do want to do quite an epic backdrop for my safari style / adventure style lookbook video that I do have coming up. Some of you have asked, and like, of course I'm going to make you a safari style summer lookbook. Don't worry, it is coming, but I am putting quite a lot of crafting and work into that backdrop, so it's just taking me a little bit longer to set that all up, but it will be coming soon. Thank you guys for asking for some safari style inspiration. You know I'm ready to give it, to be honest. But I was happy to find this suitcase for only $28. Usually they're priced anywhere from like $35 to $100 online, and then there's like usually a $20 shipping, because obviously shipping something this large costs a lot of money. So I was happy to find one locally at a fair so I could get it for a pretty good price. So those were the items I found at my local vintage / street market fair thing that they have here in the summertime here near me in Colorado. I'm always excited to go. I think I'll go back again for the first one in July. It's always the first Saturday of the month, so I'll try and go to the July and August ones as well. Hopefully I can make it. Scheduling doesn't always work out, of course, but I'm excited to go back and possibly find even more treasures to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I picked up today. Thank you all, as always, for tuning in today, and I will see you again here on the channel real soon. Bye.